Have you ever noticed a strange pressure in your lower body that you can't quite explain? Not pain exactly, but a tightness, a heaviness, almost like something inside is slowing down. For many men over 60, this isn't just a passing discomfort. It's the first quiet signal that something deeper is shifting. Not in your mind, not even in your muscles, but in your circulation. And it often begins in the most private part of your body. You might think it's just age catching up, a natural part of getting older. But what if I told you that the weakening you feel down there, the lack of response, the loss of confidence is not inevitable? That behind those quiet changes is something real and reversible? Something your body is trying to tell you long before more serious health problems appear. I'm Dr. Mark, and for over 30 years I've helped men restore their strength, not with pills or procedures, but by addressing the one system that connects energy, vitality, and sexual function, your blood flow. And today, I want to gently open a door for you, because hidden in your everyday meals might be the very key to bringing that flow back. In this video, we'll explore 3 powerful science-backed foods that can help improve circulation exactly where you need it most. They're simple, natural, and when used correctly, they can awaken something in you that you may have quietly started to miss. So if you're curious, if you're ready to feel more in tune with your body again, stay with me. What you'll discover might surprise you in the best possible way. Let's begin. 1. Beets. There was a time I never gave beets a second thought. They were just those earthy red vegetables that showed up in salads or sat unnoticed at the corner of the dinner plate. But that changed when I started listening closely to the stories shared by the older men I worked with. Men in their late 60s and 70s who, despite the passing years, began experiencing something unexpected, a subtle return of vitality, firmer erections, less groin tension during intimacy, a newfound stamina that felt like a quiet gift, not a miracle. It wasn't coincidence. It was beets. You see, beets are rich in natural nitrates. Once inside your body, those nitrates are converted into nitric oxide, a compound your blood vessels absolutely love, especially the ones down there. Nitric oxide helps your vessels relax and expand, allowing blood to flow more freely and deeply into erectile tissue. And that's key, because when circulation improves, so does everything that depends on it. Arousal, performance, and even the warm confidence that makes a man feel truly alive again. After 60, your body doesn't produce nitric oxide like it used to. That's why many men start noticing a quiet decline they can't explain. Arousal becomes slower. Erections feel weaker. Sometimes there's a cramp-like tightness in the lower pelvis, a signal that blood isn't reaching the tissues the way it once did. It's easy to dismiss it as aging, but in truth, it's your body asking for help. Beets are one of the simplest, gentlest ways to offer that help. They don't scream for attention. They don't need to come in the form of a pill or a prescription. A glass of beet juice in the morning, a few slices roasted with dinner, a handful tossed into a salad. Small choices, quiet changes, but over time, they act like a natural primer for your circulation, opening what time had slowly tightened. And perhaps what's most powerful about beets isn't just the biology. They also restore a sense of agency. That feeling of, I'm doing something good for myself. That matters, especially when it's easy to feel like your best days are behind you. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about supporting the body you have now, the one that's still capable of joy, intimacy, and connection. Beets aren't a miracle cure, but they are a nudge in the right direction. A way of reminding your body how it once worked and still can. And if that surprises you, wait until you hear about the next food, a fruit most men toss aside without a second thought. Yet inside it is a compound that mimics the effects of prescription pills, minus the harsh side effects. Even more importantly, it may calm the vascular spasms that cause that deep, uncomfortable tightness during arousal. Let's explore that together next. 2. Watermelon. To tell you the truth, for most of my life, I saw watermelon as nothing more than a sweet, cooling treat for hot summer afternoons. Just something to enjoy at a picnic or pass around at a family barbecue. It felt nostalgic, even playful, but never once did I think of it as something that could restore strength or improve a man's blood flow, especially below the belt. But as time passed and I began working more closely with older men, navigating changes in their bodies, I stumbled upon something remarkable. It turns out watermelon, particularly the part most people throw away, holds a quiet secret that can make a profound difference. That secret lives in the white part of the rind. Most people slice off the red flesh and discard the rest, never realizing that the white rind contains high levels of a compound called citrulline. Citrulline is a natural vasodilator, which simply means it helps your blood vessels open up. This is especially important after 60, when blood vessels tend to narrow or lose flexibility. And when that happens, circulation to the penis can slow down or become inconsistent, leading to weak erections, sluggish arousal, or even a deep, dull tightness that some men describe as a quiet kind of cramping. It doesn't hurt sharply, but it signals that something isn't flowing the way it used to. Citrulline gently reverses that. It encourages blood to move more freely by relaxing the vessel walls, allowing your body to respond more naturally during intimacy. No harsh chemicals, no forced reactions, just a supportive nudge in the right direction. I remember one patient in particular, a kind, soft-spoken man named Harold who came to me feeling frustrated. He was in his late 60s, active, still full of life, but he had begun to notice that his morning erections were fading and intimacy felt more strained than it used to. We talked through his habits, and I suggested he try blending both the red flesh and the white rind of watermelon into his morning smoothie. He was skeptical but willing. 2 weeks later, Harold came back smiling. Not only were his morning erections stronger, but that unpleasant tightness he used to feel during arousal had quietly disappeared. No medication, no surgery, just a shift in what he put into his blender. It was one of those moments that reminds you how powerful food can be when it works with the body rather than against it. Watermelon won't create magic overnight, and it won't push your body into artificial performance. But it supports you in a way that feels honest and gentle. It reminds your blood vessels of what they were once capable of. And in doing so, it restores something even deeper than circulation. It brings back ease, confidence, that quiet comfort in your own skin. So next time you slice into a watermelon, take a second look at the part you usually throw away. You might just find that what seems like waste is actually medicine in disguise. And now, if you're ready to complete this journey, there's one last food we need to talk about. It's not a fruit, not even a vegetable, but it holds something your body desperately needs to finish what the beets and watermelon have started. Let's move on. 3. Pumpkin seeds. If there is one overlooked food I truly wish every man over 60 would give a second glance, it's pumpkin seeds. Small, quiet, almost invisible on most plates, they're often scraped out and discarded without a moment's thought. But hidden inside these humble seeds is a powerhouse of minerals that could make all the difference for your energy, blood flow, and confidence as you age, especially when it comes to feeling like your full self again. Pumpkin seeds are rich in 3 nutrients your body quietly craves more of as the years pass: magnesium, zinc, and arginine. Each of them plays a unique, vital role in the complex process of circulation and male performance. Magnesium, for starters, helps relax your blood vessels. That relaxation is critical because as vessels age, they tend to stiffen or spasm during times of arousal. Some men describe it not as pain, but as a strange, persistent tightness in the groin, like a signal that something isn't flowing quite right. Magnesium helps ease that tension, allowing blood to move with less resistance. Then there's zinc. As testosterone naturally declines with age, zinc steps in like a quiet guardian. It doesn't spike your hormones, but it helps maintain balance, ensuring that the testosterone your body still makes is protected and used efficiently. Without enough zinc, that masculine edge, the inner spark that drives vitality, can begin to dim. And finally, there's arginine. It's an amino acid that supports nitric oxide production, and nitric oxide is what allows blood vessels to expand and carry oxygen-rich blood into the penis during arousal. Without enough arginine, the signals get weak, the flow slows, and things that used to feel automatic begin to feel like hard work. One story I'll never forget came from a gentleman named Gerald, a retired Air Force engineer in his early 70s. Disciplined, straight-talking. He wasn't struggling with desire. In fact, he said he still felt quite drawn to his partner, but he was experiencing something he couldn't put into words, a constant low-pressure tightness in his groin that would show up right at the worst times. Not sharp pain, just an uncomfortable tension that left him distracted and disheartened. I suggested something simple. Add a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds to his daily routine. No pills, no drastic changes. Just that. 3 weeks later, Gerald returned with a chuckle and a quiet smile. The tension had vanished. His morning erections were back. And perhaps most importantly, he said he finally felt like himself again. Not younger exactly, but more complete, more whole. That's the beauty of pumpkin seeds. They're easy to work into your life. Sprinkle them on your oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, snack on them plain. No need for fancy recipes or complicated routines. They work quietly in the background, supporting your system day by day, gently building a foundation for healthier blood flow and a return to something deeply personal, the quiet, steady pride of being in tune with your own body. Now, if you followed along this far, you already know the power of real food. Beets that widen the flow, watermelon that smooths the path, and now pumpkin seeds that build from the inside out. But what happens when you put them all together? When these three forces work in harmony, the results can be more than the sum of their parts. In the next section, we'll look at how to combine them into a single daily rhythm that could change the way your body responds, rebuilds, and restores. Keep watching. This is where everything begins to come together. On 5, the number one mistake most men make after 60. After decades of listening to the quiet worries of older men, of hearing their frustrations voiced in low tones behind closed doors, one pattern has stood out more than any other. It's the moment when a man reaches for the quickest solution, a pill, a promise, a shortcut to feel like himself again. And truly, I don't blame him. When your body starts responding more slowly, when desire feels distant or inconsistent, it's tempting to look for something fast, something easy. But this is where the biggest mistake begins. The number one mistake I've seen men over 60 make is relying solely on medication to fix what is really a deeper issue of nourishment, circulation, and support. Pills like Viagra or Cialis might seem like magic at first. They can force blood into the penis, push an erection into place, and for a while that seems like a win, but it's a fragile fix. These medications don't repair the stiffened vessels that have lost their natural elasticity over time. They don't restore the body's own nitric oxide production, and they certainly don't ease that lingering, uncomfortable pressure some men feel in the lower pelvis. That dull tightness that quietly signals something isn't flowing right anymore. Pills don't solve that. They only cover it up. Worse yet, many men report that these pills lose their effectiveness over time. They begin to chase higher doses or more frequent use, only to be met with side effects that feel worse than the original problem. Headaches that linger, nausea that ruins the moment, a strange tension in the chest that turns pleasure into worry. I've had men sit across from me, eyes tired, voices low, asking what's wrong with them. And I always answer the same way. Nothing is broken. Your body is not failing you. It is simply undernourished. It's calling out for support, not stimulation. And if you answer that call, everything can begin to change. The truth is, lasting strength doesn't come from tricks. It comes from rebuilding, from giving your blood vessels the minerals they've lost, from restoring circulation through natural means, from waking up the systems inside you that have been waiting quietly for attention. The men who see real transformation, who regain not only their erections, but their sense of vitality and self-respect, are not the ones who chased a shortcut. They're the ones who took the steady path, who looked inward, who gave their body what it needed and let time and care do their work. It starts with choosing the right foods, Not just once or twice, but with consistency. Beets that open the gates, watermelon that soothes the channels, pumpkin seeds that fuel the entire system from within. This isn't a diet. It's a return to something essential. A way of caring for your body that reflects dignity, patience, and self-respect. You might be wondering how to start, how to make this real without getting overwhelmed. That's where the next step comes in. A simple 7-day action plan that shows you exactly what to eat, when to eat it, and how to build these foods into your day naturally. No complicated routines, no special equipment, just one choice at a time, building towards something stronger. If you've made it this far, you're not just looking for information, you're ready to act. And that's the moment everything starts to shift. Let's take the next step together. This could be the beginning of a whole new chapter, one rooted in strength, not shortcuts, in restoration, not replacement. Let's get started. 6. Your 7-day action plan. Now that you've seen what beets, watermelon, and pumpkin seeds can do for your blood flow, energy, and intimacy, the next question is simple but powerful. How do you make this part of your everyday life? In my years working with older men, I've seen a common pattern. They understand the science. They believe in the possibilities. They feel that flicker of hope returning, but then they hesitate, not because they lack the will, but because they don't know where to start. And that hesitation often turns into an action. That's why I've put together a simple 7-day action plan. No confusion, no complicated meal prep, just a clear path forward, grounded in rhythm and real results. Start your mornings with beet juice, just a small glass on an empty stomach, first thing after you wake. It doesn't have to be store-bought or fancy. Even freshly boiled or blended beets will do. The point is to spark your nitric oxide production early in the day, giving your blood vessels a reason to open up and move. It's like warming up your body's engine. You'll feel more alert, more awake, and over time, more alive in ways that matter deeply. Mid-morning, make yourself a watermelon smoothie. Blend both the red flesh and the white rind. That pale part most people throw away is where the citrulline lives. It's subtle in taste, but powerful in effect. As you sip, imagine it quietly soothing the smallest blood vessels in your body, particularly the ones tied to sensitivity and performance. You don't have to feel something dramatic. Just know that circulation is being restored in layers, gently and patiently. In the afternoon, enjoy a small handful of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds. Keep them somewhere visible on your kitchen counter, your desk, or even in your pocket. These seeds are working behind the scenes, delivering zinc to support your testosterone, magnesium to keep the blood vessels relaxed, and arginine to help nitric oxide do its job. It's not about grand gestures, it's about steady input that the body can count on. Alongside these 3 core habits, drink water steadily throughout the day. Keep your body hydrated so the blood you're encouraging to flow can move freely and without resistance. Find moments to move. A short walk after breakfast. Light stretching in the evening. Let movement become your partner in this journey. And perhaps most important of all, begin each day with a quiet promise to yourself. You're not just surviving, you're rebuilding. You're reclaiming something that belongs to you. This isn't about proving anything to anyone else. It's about choosing to live fully, with presence and pride, in the body you have now. This plan is not about perfection. It's not meant to add pressure or turn your day into a checklist. It's meant to offer rhythm, something steady you can return to day after day without guilt or strain. Your body doesn't need magic. It needs nourishment, consistency, and kindness. Many men report feeling a difference within days, not just in performance, but in energy, mood, even confidence. And when results begin to appear, they don't feel forced, they feel earned, because they are. But this is not the end of your journey. In fact, what comes next may be even more important than what you eat or drink. Because behind every action is a reason, a deeper why. And before we close, there is one final message I want to share with you. Something that brings all of this into focus, not just for your body, but for your heart. Stay with me. 7. Final doctor's message. There's something I want every man watching this to truly hear, especially if you are in your 60s, 70s, or even well into your 80s. You are not broken. You are not too old. And no, you have not missed your chance. I say this not as a slogan or a hopeful phrase, but as something I've witnessed time and time again. I've seen men who were convinced they had already reached the end of their vitality. Men who had quietly resigned themselves to fading desire, diminishing strength, and a slow emotional retreat from the man they once knew. And then I saw those same men transform, not because of some miracle drug, not because of a secret procedure, but because they made a quiet, powerful decision. They stopped accepting decline as their destiny, and they started choosing, day by day, to rebuild from the inside out. Yes, we've talked about food, we've talked about blood flow, about nitric oxide, about erections, about habits. But underneath all of that is something much more meaningful. This journey is not just about improving function. It's about reclaiming a part of yourself that the world has quietly asked you to set aside. The part that still feels, still wants, still hopes for intimacy, not just of the body, but of the soul. Because for many men, the slow loss of sexual vitality feels like a quiet kind of grief. It's not spoken out loud, but it sits heavy in the background. It shows up when you glance at yourself in the mirror and feel a little less sure. It whispers when the bedroom grows colder, not because of anyone's fault, but because you've begun to believe your time has passed. And I want to tell you right now, it hasn't. You are still here. You are still capable of joy, of pleasure, of connection. And the changes you may have seen in your body are not the end. They are a signal, a call to care more deeply, to move more intentionally, and to begin again. I remember a patient named Leonard. He was 74 when we first met, sharp-witted, a retired photographer who had spent his life capturing the beauty of others, but had lost sight of his own. He came to me not with complaints, but with a quiet question. Is it too late to feel like myself again? I told him no, not even close. We talked through everything you and I have covered today. Beets, watermelon, pumpkin seeds, gentle movement, daily choices that rebuild trust between a man and his body. Leonard gave it a try. Nothing drastic, just daily steps, taken without pressure. 3 months later, he came back, looked me in the eye and said, I don't feel younger. I feel alive again. That's what this is about. This process is not about chasing youth. It's not about pretending nothing has changed. It's about stepping into this new chapter of life with honesty and strength. A chapter where you are no longer ignoring the signals your body sends. A chapter where you nourish what's been neglected. Where you give yourself permission to feel again, fully, without shame, without apology. Because here's the truth. You don't have to earn your worth through performance. You already have it. But when you begin to care for your body with respect and consistency, you open the door to a new kind of strength, a quiet power that comes from within, a knowing that you are not at the end, but at the beginning of something different, something deeper. It's about returning to the man you've always been, not the one shaped by expectations, but the one shaped by wisdom, by courage, and by the decision to keep showing up for himself. Your blood vessels can reopen, your confidence can return, your intimacy can be rebuilt not just as a physical act, but as a reflection of presence and love. The process doesn't require perfection, just care, just consistency, just belief in the possibility of renewal. So if you've been watching this and thinking maybe, just maybe there's still more ahead for you than you thought, then you're absolutely right. You haven't missed your moment. You've just arrived at the one that matters most. As we close, I want to leave you with this. The food you eat, the steps you take, the water you drink, the breath you draw before deciding to try again. These are not small things. They are sacred acts of self-respect. They say to your body and to your spirit that you are still here, that you still matter, and that the next chapter of your life will be written not in resignation, but in strength. Stay with this journey. You deserve to feel whole again, and you absolutely can. This is where real change begins. And if you've stayed with me all the way through, I want to take a quiet moment to thank you. Not just for watching, but for showing up for yourself. That choice to stay present and open says more about your strength than any number ever could. It means you're not giving up on yourself, and that matters. Today, you've learned something powerful, that beets can help reignite the natural engine of your circulation. That watermelon, especially the part most people throw away, holds the key to softening blood vessels and easing that deep pressure you might feel down there. And that pumpkin seeds, though small, are loaded with the minerals your body has quietly been asking for all along. Together, these aren't just foods. They're a message to your body, a reminder of how it used to work, and how, with care, it can work again. This is not about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming energy, connection, and the ability to feel like yourself again, in ways that are grounded and real. I've seen men light up from the inside out when these shifts begin, a quiet confidence returning, a renewed sense of presence in their relationships. That feeling of, yes, I'm still here, I still matter. And you do. So let this be your beginning. Follow the plan, stay curious, be kind to your body, and above all, give yourself permission to feel good again. Not for one night, but for every morning after. If something in this video resonated with you, please subscribe so you can keep walking this path with us. And in the comments, just type, "I'm ready" if you're taking your first step. Your words might be the encouragement another man needs to do the same. Your journey isn't over. In fact, something powerful is just getting started. Stay tuned for what comes next. You won't want to miss it.